I'm Rebecca Virginia, and today I'm going to be sharing with you holiday DIYs. These are all brand new and they are Kirkland dupes. Thank you so much to Cricut for sponsoring today's video. Kirklands is one of my absolute favorite places to go window shopping. I love to get ideas and inspiration from them, but they can be a little pricey, so I prefer to recreate the items that I see there. Today I'll be using Dollar Tree items as well as my vinyl and Cricut cutting machine to recreate these projects and dupe some of those more expensive items. I started off this DIY with a Dollar Tree tag sign, and I used some painter's tape to tape out the outline red, and then I painted the intersection white. I just had come across the screen the inspiration that I saw at Kirklands, so I went to my Cricut and I created my own Welcome to the North Pole sign. I'm going to have it linked down below. If you guys have your own Cricut, then you'll be able to go right into your design space and use this. You may also notice that I'm not using a scraper tool to adhere this because it's going on top of paint. I was really scared if I rubbed too hard that it would pull some of the paint off the sign, so I just gently kind of pressed down with my fingers to make sure that everything adhered. To make my bow, I'm going to leave linked up above a detailed tutorial that I gave last year. This is fast becoming one of my absolute favorite bows to make. My only big recommendation is that when you're making a bow like this, I think I call it my zip tie bow because this is the one where I have to use the zip tie for. I would really recommend that you are using ribbon that has wire in it. In the really detailed tutorial that, again, I will have linked down below and also in the description box, I did not use wired ribbon, so yes, it is possible, but it made my life a lot more difficult. So I would really recommend that you are using wired ribbon for this. Usually I add tails to my bows, and what you would do is just cut. You'll have one tail and then you can cut another one and use another zip tie, but it kind of covered up the welcome to part of the North Pole sign. So I actually ended up deciding to just scrap the tails and just keep it with a really fluffy bow, and I adhered that with a bit of hot glue at the top. I liked this as a standing sign. I think I'm going to place it on my mantle once it actually turns to holiday or Christmas weather. But you could always add on either some ribbon, jute, or even a chain to make it more like that Kirklands item we saw in the store. This next recreation I was obsessed with when I saw it in the store. I will insert a picture in just a little moment later on in the tutorial, but as soon as I saw it, I knew that this would be the perfect item to use vinyl to make my dupe for. The frame is from the Dollar Tree, and this gingham Christmas colored backing is a scrapbooking paper that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, and then I just cut down a little bit of cardstock, adding about an inch at the top, the bottom, and the sides so that we have this in the center. And here is my inspiration that I saw in Kirkland's, but I'm not amazing at painting and drawing and all of that, so I let my Cricut do the work for me. I cut out trees in different, varying shades of green. I did this lighter color green at the back and the two darker shades in the middle and on the side. You might be wondering, wow, you are putting out Christmas videos super early. That's kind of how it goes in the YouTube world, even on Instagram. All of the items are in stock in the stores now, so I want you to at least be able to watch these, get some inspiration, and if you see them in your Dollar Tree or other crafting stores, make sure that you pick up the items that you think you might want to craft with later in the season because they fly off the shelves and it's really hard to find them once it's actually the holiday season. Next DIY is a paper craft. It's a stocking tag. I made it for the pup in my life that says I believe in Santa Paws, but you could do this for a cat or really tailor it to any kind of animal in your life. There's my pup. Of course, he had to be in on all of the action. Here is my inspiration from Kirklands, and I'm just using some scrapbooking paper that I had. I start with white and put it in my Cricut machine to cut the tag, but I decided that it blended in too much with my light kind of cream colored stocking. So I did end up doing the tag in a darker kind of traditional Christmas green color. My favorite machine is the Cricut Maker, which you can see here. I never put it away. It just lives on top of this crafting storage that I have right here because I was using it so often. It was just silly to put it away every time. It's my fave. It cuts over 300 different types of materials. There are 13 tools that you can use to cut, write, score, foil, engrave. It really does everything. So if you are an avid crafter, I highly recommend getting the Cricut Maker or even the new Cricut Maker 3, which is going to take that matteless vinyl. If you're a little bit newer to crafting, they did just launch the Cricut Joy Extra, which is a little bit bigger than the Cricut Joy and it allows the print then cut feature. So I would check that out if you maybe just want to dip your toe into the Cricut world and maybe the Cricut Maker is a little too intimidating for you. I am very curious about the Cricut Joy Extra. I hope my mom's not listening, but I think I'm actually going to get her that for Christmas this year. I think it would be a very good starting point for her in her, Cricut crafting journey. Because I am working with putting vinyl on top of paper, I really don't want the paper to rip, and sometimes the Cricut transfer tape can be a little bit too sticky. You can always pat it off on your clothes to make it less sticky, but I had some of the Dollar Tree transparent paper, which is just sticky, but not quite as sticky as if you needed something to, adhere to wood or something. And I like to use that on any of my paper crafting. And you can find that with any of the other kind of shelf liners in more of the kitchen side of the Dollar Tree. Then the last step for this paper craft, I felt like there was too much room kind of at the top of the tag. So I went into my Dollar Tree stickers and thought, Rudolph is kind of like the pet of Santa. So I thought that a reindeer fit perfectly onto this tag. Next, this is probably the only item that I saw in Kirklands that I would have been tempted to buy because I thought it was so beautiful. But I really like my recreation too, so you'll have to let me know down in the comments below how I did. This was probably the hardest one because I had to freehand draw. I grabbed one of the frames from Dollar Tree. I actually used this for my bridal shower. I will have that linked up above. If you haven't seen my bridal shower video, I did it using mostly Dollar Tree items. And I painted what was originally some white. I painted that black to go a little bit more. Then I printed out Silent Night, Holy Night, the sheet music. I'll have that linked down below too. And now I'm going to start sketching out the church. I just showed that picture. I am really obsessed with that. If it ever goes on sale, maybe at the end of the year and I get a coupon, maybe I'll purchase it because I really did love it that much. I started off sketching everything with one of the chalk pens that the Dollar Tree sells because that's really easy to erase with a wet wipe to just kind of sketch out how I wanted the church to look. And if you look back at the Kirklands picture, this is a very messy, sketched out. It's not a perfect looking church. So I kind of just tried to do as many lines as I could to make it look like someone took a pencil and was sketching everything out. So I just went over all of my chalk markings with a Sharpie pen. I tried using a gel pen first, an infusible ink pen, but at the end of the day, you couldn't really see it too well. So a good old-fashioned Sharpie was just the best way to recreate the church on the glass part of the Silent Night frame. Around the checkout area of Kirklands was this massive canvas that was a bright red, very Christmassy color, and it said Merry and Bright, and I thought that would be so easy to recreate using some vinyl and a Dollar Tree sign. It did break my heart a little to paint this sign red because I thought it was absolutely gorgeous and I wasn't going to DIY it at all, but I loved the wood at the top and the bottom of it, and the Dollar Tree is still selling these since, it's only October and most people are not Christmas crafting right now. So I think I'm going to go to my Dollar Tree and pick up maybe one or two more because not only did I love the original sign, but the wood on the top and the bottom just looks so classy and like way more than $1.25 to me. I painted this red using the color Crimson by Waverly. Then I used my Cricut cutting machine to cut out Merry and Bright. Again, I'm going to have the links to all of those files in my Cricut design space down below. And the snowflakes are from Dollar Tree. I used some silver paint. It's actually silver metallic paint from Folk Art. And I painted those silver, let them dry, and then used a bit of hot glue to adhere them around the sign. The next craft is a true Dollar Tree DIY. It was really easy. I only used, I think, about 4 supplies from the Dollar Tree to recreate a decorative bell that I saw at Kirklands. First, I am using this galvanized tin, which Mine were just out around the florals, but I know that you can usually find it in the garden section. And we're going to recreate this bell. This bell looks very expensive and fancy at Kirklands, but we're going to try our best. Using that same metallic silver paint that I used on the snowflakes in the last DIY, I cut one of the wood circles that you can find in the Crafter Square section in half and painted that in the silver paint. So that kind of was the top of our bell, which we will soon be threading some ribbon through. The jute did not go with my theme, so I took that off and then I used a little bit of rubbing alcohol to try to get off all of the glue, but it was a little bit of a nightmare, so I took a break from that and moved on to the ribbon that we're going to put at the top of our bow. This is actually from the Valentine's Day time period. They came out with some velvet ribbons, and this red just screamed Christmas to me. So I'm hot gluing that around the ring that I already placed at the top of the bell, and I'm going to have that just hanging off the side, just like the Kirklands one. I went back to my rubbing alcohol and tried to get all of the glue and the jute pieces off, and it just wasn't happening. So I decided to cover it up with some ribbon. I got this at the Dollar Tree last year. It's sparkly and has the hollies on it, so I thought it went really well. At first I tried using the same velvet red ribbon that I have, hanging off the bell, but it was a little too matchy-matchy for me, so I liked the way this one came out better. I also did use a little bit of jute and hot glue to hot glue an actual bell into our bell so that when it's hanging up, you will be able to see it. It wouldn't be a holiday DIY video without something to do with a Christmas tree, making a Christmas tree shape. So I am going to be showing you how to use one of the wire cones from Dollar Tree and transform it into a tiny Christmas tree. And my dog really wanted to help me out with this one, so I'm sorry, but he is going to be covering up a lot of what I'm doing in this video because he was very, number one, confused why we had the fireplace on in October, even though it actually has gotten cold here, and he just wanted to see what I was doing. And that picture is the Kirklands item that we're going to try to dupe. This garland is from Walmart, and it's the garland I use on my mantle every single year. So I would have used white paint to give it that snowy look, but because I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with my mantle theme this year, I did not do that. So it's not going to match the Kirkland dupe perfectly. I used some zip ties to tie the garland all around the wire cone shape. You can find these in the gardening section of Dollar Tree. That's where mine always is. Then I tried to add some ribbon on, but ended up not really liking how that looked. So I just went with this. It's so easy. All you do is wrap the garland and zip tie it around the cone or tree form. So it's so easy to create a little mini tree. If you have kids, I think it'd be so cute in each of their rooms. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with a brand new video next week. Until then, keep searching, keep creating.